Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head, searching for the perfect thing you should have said? Or maybe you've won entire arguments in the shower, crafting eloquent, unbeatable points long after the moment has passed. If so, you're not alone, and what your brain is doing is fascinating. If your mind constantly plays out these fake conversations or detailed scenarios, you aren't strange. You're not just overthinking. There are specific psychological reasons your brain does this. They reveal something profound about how your mind is wired to protect you. The real reason you create these fake scenarios is often a powerful defense mechanism against anxiety, loneliness, and feeling out of control. Let's be honest. Force morpheus, the world inside our heads is just as vivid and sometimes more consuming than the world outside. This isn't just about replaying a clumsy comment from a party. It's about constructing entire universes. You might spend your commute mentally rehearsing a difficult conversation with your boss, running through a dozen different versions. You might imagine a future where you've achieved all your goals, feeling the warmth of that success so intensely that it almost feels real. Or it can get darker. You might find yourself trapped in loops of worst-case scenarios, imagining a loved one in danger or a project at work failing spectacularly. You build these elaborate narratives, complete with dialogue and emotional reactions, and for a moment, you're completely immersed. You feel the sting of a criticism that was never spoken, or the gut-wrenching fear of a disaster that exists only in your mind. For many, this feels like being a passenger in a mind that refuses to be quiet. It can be isolating, like you're living a double life, the one everyone else sees, and the secret, sprawling one playing out behind your eyes. If this sounds familiar, you've probably wondered if there's something wrong with you, or why you can't just switch it off and be present. The truth is, your brain isn't doing this to be difficult. It's trying to help. But there's a side to this that no one really talks about: the emotional toll. While these mental simulations can feel productive, they come at a cost. Living through stressful situations not once, but dozens of times is utterly exhausting. Your nervous system often doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. When you imagine a tense argument, your heart rate can actually rise and your muscles can tense up, all without anyone else being in the room. This creates a jarring gap between your inner world and your real life. You might emerge from a comforting daydream with a fictional friend only to feel the weight of your actual loneliness. Or you might feel intense frustration when a real conversation doesn't follow the perfect script you wrote in your head, leaving you feeling clumsy despite your endless rehearsals. It can even lead to analysis paralysis, where you've thought about doing something so much that you've drained all the emotional energy you needed to actually do it. This is the core conflict. Your brain creates these worlds to protect you, but they can also become gilded cages. Inside your mind, you have complete control. You're the writer, director, and star of the show. But reality is messy and unpredictable. And this constant retreat into a perfect, controllable fantasy can make the imperfections of real life feel even more disappointing. The very mechanism designed to prepare you for life might be preventing you from truly living it. So, what's actually going on in your brain? Why does it dedicate so much energy to building these elaborate fictions? This isn't a glitch. It's a feature of how we're built. Scientists often call this process mental simulation. Think of it as your brain's own virtual reality engine, where key players like the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus work together to explore what if. This process isn't random. It's driven by a few core psychological needs. First, there's a desperate need for control. In the real world, so much is out of our hands, but in your mind, you're in charge. You control the dialogue. You decide the outcome. You can rewind and edit any interaction until it unfolds exactly as you wish. These scenarios provide an illusion of mastery. For anyone who grew up feeling like they had to predict others' reactions to stay safe, this mental rehearsal can become a deeply ingrained survival strategy. The second reason is a rehearsal for anxiety. An anxious mind often treats everyday social interactions as high-stakes performances. To cope, it turns your imagination into a flight simulator for life. It runs simulations of difficult conversations, not to torment you, but to prepare you. It's the same kind of mental rehearsal used by athletes and surgeons. Your brain doesn't always distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. By running through a scenario, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with that action. It's an attempt to make the unfamiliar feel familiar, so that if and when the time comes, you won't freeze. The problem is that an anxious brain rarely feels prepared enough, which can create an endless, draining cycle of what-ifs. And the third reason is a shelter from loneliness. When real-world connections feel sparse or unsatisfying, the mind can build them in fantasy. You can have deep conversations with imagined friends or receive validation you don't get in your daily life. These imagined experiences can be incredibly vivid and emotionally rewarding, even triggering a release of dopamine. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Loneliness pushes you to create imagined connections, and the comfort you get reinforces the habit. The brain is simply creating a rich inner world to compensate for what's missing on the outside. If you're finding this exploration of our inner worlds insightful, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We regularly explore topics just like this one, helping you make sense of the fascinating ways your own mind works. While mental simulation is a normal brain function, there's a point where it can cross a line. When creating fake scenarios becomes so excessive that it actively interferes with your daily life, it might be entering the territory of maladaptive daydreaming. This isn't just a fleeting fantasy. It's a compulsive behavior where people can spend hours a day lost in complex worlds they've created. Unlike typical daydreaming, this becomes a substitute for real life. The emotional highs of the fantasy world can make reality feel dull. A person might choose to retreat into their head for an imagined conversation rather than have a real, messy one. This creates a cycle of avoidance, where the daydream provides temporary relief but ultimately prevents them from developing real-life skills. People with maladaptive daydreaming often feel a compulsive pull to return to their fantasies, which can deepen their sense of isolation. It's when this powerful, imaginative capacity stops serving you and starts costing you. So, what should you do with this knowledge? The most powerful shift you can make is to stop seeing this habit as a flaw. The goal isn't to silence your imagination, but to learn to listen to it. Your fake scenarios aren't the problem, they are clues. They are psychological blueprints that reveal your deepest needs, fears, and desires. Think about the content of your scenarios. Do you constantly imagine yourself being more confident and assertive? That isn't a delusion. It's a signal that your mind is craving a greater sense of agency. The imagined scenario is a blueprint for the person you want to become. Do you run through worst-case scenarios, imagining every way things could go wrong? Your brain isn't just being morbid. It's desperately seeking a feeling of safety in a world that feels uncertain. That scenario is a clue that your nervous system needs reassurance? Do you create detailed fantasies about close, loving relationships? That is a clear signal of an unmet need for connection. Your brain is showing you exactly what kind of social nourishment it's hungry for. The solution, then, isn't to stop imagining. It's to use these mental blueprints to guide your actions in the real world. If your mind is rehearsing confidence, take one tiny step toward being more assertive today. If your mind is building disaster scenarios, take one small action to create a sense of safety in your environment. If you are dreaming of connection, take one small risk to reach out to someone. The imagined world shows you the target. Your job is to take the first small, imperfect step toward it. You are not broken for living inside your head. You are not strange for having conversations with people who aren't there. Your mind, in its incredible complexity, has developed a powerful tool for navigating the challenges of being human. It built a simulator to help you feel in control, prepare for threats, and cope with loneliness. The worlds you build in your mind are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of its creative power. The question isn't how to stop your brain from doing this. The question is how to guide it. How to listen to the stories it tells, understand the needs they reflect, and use them not as an escape from life, but as a map to guide you more deeply into it. Your imagination is a compass. Pay attention to where it's pointing. I'd love to hear from you. Share one scenario your brain loves to create in the comments below. Reading them helps us all feel a little less alone in our own heads. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more insights into how your mind works.